And live, I believe. Hopefully. Okay, welcome back to the Broken Chatbox. We are playing some more Sonic Adventure 2. I'm going to call this Where the Hell Did Everyone Go edition because I'm alone again. Anyways, we're just going to start right off back where we were. It's also like 500 degrees in this room. Hold on, I'm turning on my clock here so that I know what time it is because that's useful. Anyway, so yeah, I'm alone again. I don't know where everyone's at. I've literally talked to 2 people and neither of them are people that show up in the podcast. So it's like, well, that's kind of lame. Something about flying higher and stuff like that. So yeah, we're just going to try and do a podcast with me just again. I'm probably not going to do too well today because, for one, it's 1,001 degrees in my apartment for no fucking reason whatsoever because for some reason the heater will not turn off. And so it's just been on for like 3 days straight. Oh, hey, I can go up there. And so basically I had to go and change clothes and everything like that into like winter clothing. So I'm sitting here wearing a shirt that is like only half of a shirt. It's got like tons of holes in it and everything like that. I think I wore it on one of the episodes of the podcast actually. And then obviously nobody else is here to join me and I'm kind of tired because I was up late working on my year-end video. I can talk about that a little bit later. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about what I've been playing this week because that's kind of what we got and that's what we do. Oh, I should also mention, I'm going to be looking at the streaming quality and stuff like that this episode. So if it looks a little bit different or it looks a little bit stuttery, I apologize for that. I'm kind of screwing around with XSplit settings and stuff like that to try and get better quality. So that's a thing. This episode is in 30 FPS, which hopefully it looks better. But at the same time, it might not because that's just how the internet works. So hopefully it looks better, but it might not. It won't be as smooth, but whatever. And also, they have some new like little moderation thing on Twitch which allows you to view like what your current bit rates are and stuff like that. So I'm doing that for some connectivity issues. I had one user telling me, or one viewer telling me that it was kind of stuttery here and there, like dropped frames and stuff, but he said it might have been his internet as well, but I'm going to be watching that. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about stuff this week. Where am I supposed to go? On the bird statue in the green room. So I just need to find the green room. I don't remember this map whatsoever. In fact, you know, if you watched the last episode that we did of this, I do not like these levels, actually, very much. I am quite not a fan of it. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, they're enjoyable for a little bit, but then after you're playing them for a while, you're just like, I don't want to play it anymore. So I'm kind of disappointed that this is where we're going to start off. I was like, we should play a different game, because, like, I don't want to play this level. And now we're just playing this level, so there we go. That's how it went. I just wanted to make sure I was streaming something that would actually stream, especially when I'm by myself. I wanted to do some co-op stuff. Me and a friend actually started playing Dragon Nest to kind of segue. I've really been playing the same game, so I've been playing the Neptunia games a little bit more. I didn't end up doing my review because I got to the very end of the game. I'm like, I'll just finish it up, and then I didn't play it, so yeah, I just haven't like gone back and done it yet. I've also been working on my year-end review, which means, or year-end kind of list, to where it's like, these are the games that I think deserve mention this year and stuff like that, so I'll have that coming around. So I played a few games just for footage and stuff like that, but like actually playing games, it's mostly been the same thing. But me and a friend actually went back to Dragon Nest a long time ago, or not too long ago, which is a game we actually played a hell of a long time ago. That game came out, I think, in 2009. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but it's basically an action MMO that's like instant-based and stuff like that. So I'm in the red room, so I need to go this way, correct? Hopefully, maybe, somewhat, maybe. I don't know. I need to open that gate. I don't like this level. Can we stop now? I wish there was a level skip button, to be 100% honest. I wish I had my old save, because then I could just like burst through all the story stuff and be like, yep, and then just kind of like show off the game as well, because this is a good game. Yeah, so Dragon Nest is kind of like an action MMO, which is very much instance-based and stuff like that, and it's actually pretty dang fun, like it has a really fun combat system, but we've been playing it recently, and we're like, this seems extremely easy. Like, we've been playing it, and it's kind of like a third-person action game, and, you know, the hordes of enemies are just dying instantly, we're one-shotting bosses and stuff like that, and we're like, what the hell happened? Because we used to play it, and we used to stream it, actually. I have, like, an old stream on my YouTube channel. It's like, yeah, we're streaming it and stuff like that, and it was actually quite fun. Some of my favorite streaming moments actually came from that. There was one point to where he was very mad at a fly, and that was fun. But yeah, so we've been playing that, and it's like, it seems super easy, and I kind of did some research, and I looked back at that stream just for nostalgia reasons, and I'm like, oh, like, they removed an entire difficulty mode that we were playing on. Like, they had an ultra hard mode, basically, and it was, like, called Abyss mode or something like that, and it was super, super challenging. Like, everything had super amounts of health. Everything basically one-shot you if you got hit, and they removed that mode. like completely from all the lower level stuff, which meant that basically there was no challenge whatsoever when we were playing it, because we were used to that mode when we were playing those types of games. Like, we always play on like the hardest difficulty, unless it's on something that where it's like arbitrary, like let's say Borderlands, to where you gotta unlock it and stuff like that, to where we're just like, yeah, I guess we'll have to kind of play around a little bit and, you know, figure out normal mode first, because those games, they scale quite highly. But Dragon Nest, you know, it's one of those games to where you can dodge and you can, you know, kind of set up your abilities to not die. And we were actually doing fairly well way back when on Abyss mode, and that's what made it so fun, was it was just kind of challenging and stuff like that. And then now it's like kind of feels kind of dead inside, and I'm kind of disappointed in that. I didn't read that note. I forgot. I can actually pause and read them. The only one who is looking the other way. Okay, so we need to find something that's looking the other way. We will do that. Probably. I don't know. We'll read another one. Hopefully it gives us a color. I like it when it gives a color, because we have a map for the color. 6 bugs lined up on the wall. Well, here's 6 bugs lined up on the wall, but I don't think that's what it's talking about. It's probably talking about the beetles and stuff like that. It might be in the blue room, I think. Let's go to the blue room. I'm going to guess it's the blue room. It might not be the blue room. It might be the red room. I don't know. I wish I knew these maps by heart, because this would go so much smoother. Yeah, if you've never played Dragon Nest, yeah, so it's like a third-person action game, and it is, hey, I was right, it's the blue room. It's a third-person action game, and it's actually quite fun to play. Like, it's got really smooth controls, it's really responsive, it's a little bit buggy, which is something that they've never really tried to fix, and there's some translation errors, like it's a Korean MMO. But it's like one of the better ones, I would say. I would say probably my favorite out of like all the action MMOs is definitely Rusty Hearts. That game was incredibly awesome, but it was super buggy, and the developer kind of crashed, and so that kind of ruined it. Where am I supposed to go here? The only one looking the other way, so it's going to be probably a beetle looking the wrong way. Is it going to be on this side of him? No. Oh, it's supposed to be like this guy right here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I found a bomb. I'm having the problems with the skull again. Is it going to throw skulls out? No. Where am I supposed to dig? I assumed I was supposed to dig in front of him, because that would just make sense. Maybe it's a specific spot in front of him that I'm supposed to dig at. Or maybe I'm not supposed to dig at all. No, I'm supposed to dig. I've got to dig. It's somewhere. Maybe it's in the very corner. There it is. Found it. That's what we got to do. Anyways, yeah, so Dragon Nest is fun. It's a fun little co-op game, except the fact is that you don't need, you know, co-op for any of it until like you get to endgame, because they removed the ultra hard mode, which was like the entire point to playing that game. So I'm actually looking at other MMOs. I was actually playing earlier today before stream. I was playing Dungeon Fighter Online, which is kind of an anomaly when it comes to these Korean MMO games, because it's actually one that has kept my interest for all these years. Like, that game is hella old, and yet it's still one of those games where I come back to it and I'm like, I'm enjoying myself like 100% of the time. It's really, really fun. So that one's kind of like a almost retro style like brawler, but it's also an MMO, so it's kind of instance based, so you go between stages and things like that, and it's all based off of combos, which makes it incredibly fun. This one has beetles lined up on the wall as well. Okay, it's going to be in the ground. Okay, so it's in the ground. Or is it in the ground? Is that just like a translation thing to where maybe it's not in the ground, it's in the ceiling? Maybe? Or in the wall? Possibly? I don't know. We're going to fly around a little bit and check. It's not up here, I don't think. Nope, it's not up there. Maybe it's in here. Ah, it's in here. It is in the ground. Oh, didn't find it. God damn it, I hate this. It's like, it's right here, and then it's not right there. Right there? Is it in front of these boxes? Okay, whatever. Yeah, so Dungeon Fighter Online is actually held up pretty well. It has probably one of the most atrocious UIs I've ever seen in a video game. But it is still incredibly fun. If you like retro kind of brawler games, that game is awesome. And they're still updating it and like releasing new content. I guess there's been some complaints about the like random elements and stuff like that. Okay, where the hell is this? Is it in here? No. Okay, let's try and gauge the center of this thing. There it is. See, like, I don't like that. Why did I have to dig like 500 million times to find that thing? I think that was just my incompetence. I should have like just slowed down and been like, okay, where's the center point? And then figured out the center point. D rank, don't care. Yeah, it's like a great kind of game. It's been kind of getting criticized for its RNG elements, but at the same time, it's an MMO with like dungeon loot systems and stuff like that. Like, you can get randomized loot and things like that for your character, so you get different weapons and things like that. But like, I don't really care, to be 100% honest, because I'm not trying to min-max 100% of the time. I'm not trying to like be Ultra Super Saiyan or anything like that. It's one of those games where I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to go play it for an hour and then enjoy myself and then come back to it later. That does mean I don't really spend money on it, so I haven't actually bought it. That was one of the games, the reason why I kind of like wanted to go try it again is because Dragon Nest used to be under the Nexon flag, which is basically, Nexon's a company that publishes a bunch of free-to-play games and stuff like that, and they actually publish games that are non-free-to-play as well. They publish Torchlight, or not Torchlight, no, that was Perfect World. Fuck, what game am I talking about? Lawbreakers. They published Lawbreakers, which wasn't very good, but hey, there you go. So they do some games that are not free-to-play, but for the most part, they are free-to-play. They have like a whole Korean division and everything like that. And they recently like kicked off, words. They recently dropped off Dragon Nest, which basically was like, hey, you know, you're not getting enough players and stuff like that. Which on Steam, it says that it has a concurrent player base of like 400 players a day, which is not minuscule, but at the same time, for a game that size, is pretty dang small. So I can understand why they kind of simplified a lot of the earlier dungeon stuff, because they want everyone to be at endgame, basically. They're just like, hey, you know, here, I'm going to give this guy fruit. There you go, enjoy. I don't know why I'm sitting here. I'm just going to throw that. Let's just go on to story stuff. Wait, that bunny hasn't been sacrificed yet. We shall sacrifice the bunny. Yes. Okay, anyways, next. I think it's going to play a cutscene now. So I might have to shut up for a minute. Nope, this is the ghost guy.
Who's there?
You could see under his neck for a second. That was weird.
What the?
A ghost? Yay, the ghost fight! Nobody seems to remember this fight. Every time I show people this, they're like, what is that? And I'm like, it's the cloth ghost. As you can see his texture, he looks like a cloth ghost. Anyways, this guy is actually kind of fun. He's actually got an interesting mechanic to where you use lights and stuff like that. This is probably one of the only Sonic games that uses, like, interesting mechanics, I would say, for their boss fights. Like, every Sonic game has mechanics for its bosses, but, like, most of them are pretty dang basic when it comes to it. It's like, yeah, dodge his balls and then do this and that and that. And this one actually has it so it's like, it's using a light mechanic, so you gotta use a light, and then you gotta dig through the shadows, because Knuckles can dig underground, which means that you want to use his dig ability for the boss battle, because that just makes sense. And now he just runs from us, which is the lame part, and we can't actually catch up to him. Even if we turn around, he gets all cheeky, and he's like, nope, I'm gonna run around. Goodbye. But yeah, so Dragon Nest was originally under Nexon, and the Nexon's like, yeah, you don't have enough players, and basically kicked it out. And that's the same thing that happened to Dungeon Fighters Online. The difference between the two games, though, is that Dragon Nest, when it did its refresh, and it actually got this update quite a while ago, which is probably why a lot of the players end up stopped playing, they kind of like simplified the game and they removed a lot of content, and so the game kind of is worse off for it. They have new characters and stuff like that. Like, the game is still incredibly fun, and I feel like it plays a lot better than it used to. But at the same time, there's a lot of content that I enjoyed. Like, they have an entire side quest where you're talking to cows and things like that, and they just completely removed it. It's not even there anymore, which is kind of sad, I would say. You know, there's a lot of content in that game that was actually kind of cool, and it's just not there anymore. Either that or they moved it to high-level stuff. Like, I remember there was a whole separate dimension sort of thing going on that you could access at level 25. Like, they don't even have it anymore. It just doesn't exist, which maybe that was a special event, and I'm just recalling it off of that special event. But at the same time, it would have been nice to be able to go back to the area, because it was like some tower defense thing, and it was really, really fun. And so, yeah, it's just kind of frustrating, because when Dungeon Fighters Online went away from Nexon, it actually got a hell of a lot better. Like, it got infinitely better, because the cash shop was more fair, it wasn't pay to win. They were able to introduce new content. They caught us up to the Korean servers and stuff like that, and it was, I think it's international now, I think, maybe? I can't guarantee that or anything like that. Like, I can't confirm that. But I think it is, like, kind of owned by them now. They're able to do whatever the hell they want with it in their translations, which is pretty great. And the game is way better for it. And the game has been only getting better. The stamina system isn't as bad, which they call it fatigue. And they made it so it was like Dragon Nest, to where if you run out of stamina, it doesn't stop you from playing. Instead, it's just like you won't get XP and shit like that from it. Which I think that's a region thing, because Korea has a law. I don't know the exact specifics on it, because quite frankly, I don't live in Korea, so there you go. But they have like this law to where it's, you can't actually have a free-to-play game without some sort of stopping power, like something to stop players from playing, which is kind of part of their whole addiction laws, I think, like that. Or maybe it's another Asian country, I don't know exactly. I think it's Korea. I'm pretty sure it's Korea. And so, basically, they have that stamina system for that, but they've actually made it a lot more lenient, and you don't have to, like, use Cash Shop to bypass it or anything like that. You can actually get items in-game to bypass it and things like that, which is pretty dang cool. Dragon Nest has the same thing, to where it's like, you know, it has a stamina system, but it's one of those systems where you just get bonus XP by, you know, playing within a certain amount. And they do this thing to where it's like, oh, you can't run like special dungeons or anything like that for like bonus XP, which you'd only play for bonus XP in the first place. but you'll still get experience for like killing monsters and things like that. You just won't get like bonus experience. And me and my friend were actually playing for several hours. Actually, we played for like 6 hours straight, and we didn't even come close to running out of our daily amount allowed. So it's like one of those situations to where you're probably not going to run out. Also, I don't know why big the cat was there. That was pretty rough. Actually, no, that was pretty easy. It just took forever. A lot of people do not like that boss fight. A lot of people say that's like the worst boss fight in the game, aside from fighting Eggman and Tails, because it just takes so long. But I went through it pretty quick. I feel like I did it pretty fast. And then we get a cutscene where Sonic's like, I'm cool. And then Eggman's like, I'm going to take your life, as well as the Chaos Emerald. That amazing lip sync. Anyways, here's the Golem. You have to fight him twice in this game. Actually, you have to fight like most bosses twice in this game. You fight Sonic twice. You fight Shadow twice. You fight the Golem twice. You fight Eggman twice. You fight Tails twice. You fight Knuckles and Rouge twice. You just fight everyone twice. That was kind of a cheap tactic back in the day. It's like, yeah, we'll just give them a new arena with a new mechanic, and that's it. It'll be good. I remember this boss fight quite a lot because I remember my stepbrother back in the day would always die on it, and I'd have to beat it for him because he absolutely sucked at video games. So I ended up beating a lot of games for him back in the day when it came to like the GameCube and stuff like that. Like he had a Nintendo 64 at his grandparents, and that's what he played. But like none of the games he had were actually like difficult games. He had like simple stuff like, I don't know, Banjo-Kazooie, which Banjo-Kazooie, as fun it is not really a challenging game. I think it's like kind of bugginess and stuff like that ends up breaking its mechanics more than anything. So, you know, not that challenging. I do love those games though. Oh, that reminds me, the crap, what's the name of it? Oh man, people are gonna hate me for not knowing the name of the game. But the spiritual successor to that actually looks really cool. Like, God, I cannot remember the name. Oh, God, I fell. No. There we go. Yep, so now I just gotta wait for him to do his thing again. This is one problem with the game. Oh, crap. A lot of the bosses are just, like, kind of wait for the timer. Come on, there we go. Just wait for the boss to attack and then counterattack. The Eggman boss fight and the Tails boss fight is pretty much the same thing. You just kind of, like, shoot at him until he dies and stuff like that. Not entirely engrossing. God dang it. I don't know why I'm trying to dash onto it so quick. I'm just kind of like running myself off of the side. But yeah, Yooka-Laylee. There we go. That's the name of it. I knew I'd get it eventually. I was just stalling for time. So Yooka-Laylee looks actually pretty dang good. Oh my God, seriously, what is wrong with me today? I cannot play video games. I'm doing terrible. I'm sorry. And, oh my God. I'm so sorry. This is not supposed to take this long. I apologize. Yeah, so Yooka-Laylee actually looks really good. Like, the first footage I saw of it years ago, or not years ago, I think it was like about a year ago. I don't know how long it's been in development. I remember seeing it on Kickstarter right when it brought up. I'm like, that is freaking awesome. But it looked atrocious back then because obviously it was alpha. They had like 2 textures made, and they're like, this is a game. Let's go. And so, yeah, it looked pretty bad. And it kind of, it always has me worrying seeing that type of stuff because there's games that actually release looking like that these days. And I'm like, oh God, no, that's not what we want, you know. And there's been some notable games that release like that as well, which is quite depressing. But actually, no, I watched the most recently like game trailer for it, and I was like, wow, that actually looks really good. It's obviously got a lot of like archaic mechanics just to be like Banjo-Kazooie, I feel like. So it's probably going to be one of those games that I kind of like put a cautionary recommendation on because it's like, this is a game that has a lot of archaic mechanics that most people are not going to like. But it's also a great like nostalgia trip just even watching the trailer, seeing it. You know, they've got the kind of wonky voices to where it's like, and it's got the weird kind of text language to it. The design on the world is definitely that sort of style, except it's obviously modernized a bit like that. And so it's got like, you know, interesting shadows and things like that. It's got good effects on it, so it looks nice. But at the same time, you know, it does look like a retro game, which it's kind of weird these days to where we have design in the world that is retro, because you'd think that, you know, that you'd end up seeing it over and over again. You know, that you look at like movies and things like that. We see the same sceneries, it just looks better. Oh yeah, we're in a spaceship, by the way. Apparently Tails knows how to do a spaceship. And this is probably like one of the worst FMVs ever.
Is everyone alright?
Is everyone alright? No, everyone died. And now you can also hear the voiceovers are absolutely terrible. Anyways, I'm going to keep talking. So Yooka-Laylee looks pretty dang good, and I'm really excited for it. I am so scared that it might not be good, though. Like, I like the idea of a lot of older games, and a lot of older design totally throws like a nostalgia trip on me, and I enjoy it. But as I was just saying, like, there's weird things to where it's like old classic games don't really update that well. A lot of the design decisions, because like, I was talking about a movie, you look at an old movie and then you look at a new movie set in the same world, and like they just make the world look more interesting, and they might do some storytelling, like gimmicks and things like that to kind of modernize it. But like, if it's like the same sort of story and everything like that, they just kind of update the world and make it a lot better. I'm getting a lot of graphical glitches, like his eyes are not attached to his head for some reason. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe it always did that and I just never realized. I never really paid attention to it. Anyways, so like we see these games that come out, like Yooka-Laylee, which is coming out hopefully soon. I think it's like, is it January? I don't know the exact release date. I probably shouldn't say anything. But it actually looks pretty good, but at the same time, it might be one of those games to where I look at it and I'm like, these archaic mechanics do not update well. This archaic world design does not update well. Yes, it's going to look interesting and it's going to be pretty cool to see those worlds, but like, it's just so weird how retro games kind of have this weird momentum to them to where it's just like everything kind of scales into a different sort of design perspective. And maybe that's just because the competent developers don't end up making these kind of large shifts back into retro design. And like Sonic is one of those great examples, as the franchise goes, to where like you could look at Sonic Generations and how they can modernize, more retro designs and still make it incredibly awesome. So maybe it's not so much the fact that, a lot of games that are being made retro status today, like modern retro games, maybe it's not so much that they're just not good in design wise, but maybe it's just the fact that the developers haven't been able to kind of update it in a way that makes it so that it's modern in mechanics, but still retro in style. And I don't know, that's a hard thing to explain because, the whole modern towards retro thing is just hard to explain in general, really. But, like, games like Conker's Bad Fur Day and stuff like that, like, those types of worlds are very rare these days. Banjo-Kazooie is kind of a world that, if you updated that to modern day, it really wouldn't carry over. You can look at the Mario games and stuff like that. Like, Mario ended up updating itself, and that's not, a lot of people end up, like, to criticize Mario for updating its world and everything like that and constantly changing its kind of core world design. But at the same time, kind of had to, because the Mario 64's world, like, it doesn't hold up well, and so maybe that's just kind of like why we don't see games designed that way. But once again, it's probably just because no developers have really gone for it, and then the big guys are like, oh, well, we need to make money, and so we just make it for everyone, and we change things up so that it's more and more casual, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of the flow of things. But yeah, that kind of goes into news topics as well. Yooka-Laylee released a new trailer. There you go. What else have I been playing this week? I played more League of Legends. Me and my friend have actually played a ridiculous mass ton of League of Legends lately. I've been doing ranked again. I have determined myself to actually get to gold this season because I didn't do it last season because I wasn't playing for several months. I was just like, yeah, I don't really care, and then just like kind of got to a situation. There's a platform out there. I don't remember how to get there. Oh yeah, it's the mystical thing. Never mind. We don't have that until the end of the game. Sorry. Let's go on. Yeah, so we've been playing a lot of that, and I've been playing some solo and duo as well, to where it's like, yeah, I'm going to get to gold this season, because I didn't last season. I wasn't playing a lot, or enough, I should say. And god damn, I forgot how much time it actually takes to end up getting to those ranks, because it's just League of Legends matches take so long to begin with. It's like an hour investment per game on average. And people will be like, no, it's like 45 minutes, but like at the same time, you got to, add in champ select, you got to add in your queue times, you got to add in the time that you spend in between games kind of deciding what you're going to do, setting up your rune pages and things like that, which I really wish they would just remove runes and the whole kind of mastery system, because I don't necessarily like it. I wish they just had a mastery set that you just picked before the game, depending on whatever role you're playing. That would be nice. Instead, they just have the system that they have, because that's how they started the game, quite frankly, and it was part of their business model, and it's kind of irrelevant now. They make tons of money. I mean, I have 2 legendary skins. I mean, obviously, they're making money off of people, yeah, I've spent money on that game. Deal with it. But yeah, I've been having fun with it, strangely. Like, there's certain times in life to where you're just like, I want to play this game. And so you play it, and you're like, I'm not having fun, and then you stop playing it. And then there's other times you go back to that same game, and you're like, I'm having a lot of fun. I want to keep playing this forever and ever. And right now, that's how League of Legends is for me. I'm just like, I want to keep playing for some reason. There's something drawing me to it. And maybe it's the fact that I haven't played it for a long time, and I feel like my skills kind of like drained a little bit on it, but then I'm getting back into it, and I'm like demolishing and everything like that. I'm able to play the new champions, and it's added interesting dynamics. The game is more interesting than it's ever been before. I feel like the game is only getting better with every single update. I know people like to kind of dread on certain little tiny facts and stuff like that. It's like, oh no, they changed this. I know Dota 2, going into news topics, Dota 2 actually had a recent huge update, which actually ended up changing a lot of mechanics, and a lot of people are like, oh no, it's getting more casual, it's going to get closer to League of Legends, and things like that, which is a ridiculous statement, because they are two completely different games these days. Now, if you would have made that argument in 2006, sure. But the thing is, Dota 2 didn't even exist in 2006, so freaking deal with it. But yeah, that's a ridiculous argument, because they're completely two different games. But, anyways, they've had a huge thing, and people are just super resistant to change, and people do not understand the whole skill floor and skill floor ceiling sort of thing, to where, League of Legends is one of those games that has a very low, skill floor, I would say. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the skill floor is how much skill is required to play the game properly. And this is like just clicking on the screen and moving a champion, basic sort of stuff, and then, being able to control the character. That is basically the skill floor. And that's pretty easy. Like, even my sister can play League of Legends. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you just click on a thing and it happens, and you're like, cool. But it has such a high skill ceiling to where you're like, alright, this is what I gotta do at this specific moment, and this is what I gotta, try to accomplish within this time limit. And it's one of those things to where it's like, these mechanics are seen for so much more than they are. I don't have the cannon yet. Wait, where do I get the cannon? I get the cannon right here, right? I thought I got the cannon here. Maybe I don't get the cannon here. Maybe I don't get the cannon here. Maybe it's later on. Maybe it is later on. I thought I got the cannon here. I'm having a memory jump. Oh, there it is. I found the cannon, guys. I knew it was here. I knew it all along. Anyways, this cannon allows me to destroy these stupid boxes. Goodbye, boxes. Boom. Yay. Anyways, yeah, it's one of those games that, it has that skill floor that's really low, but it has a skill ceiling that's extremely high. And so both League of Legends and Dota have been trying to kind of lower the skill floor for years, really. And Dota is finally going to this point to where they're just throwing out old mechanics, which is actually really, really nice. Like, there's retro mechanics that are in that game that do not need to be there, whatsoever. Limitations of the mod even are still in the game, which is annoying. And one YouTuber that I follow, I don't watch a lot of his stuff, but Total Biscuit actually made a great video talking about it. And no, I don't 100% agree with all of his opinions on it, but at the same time, he talks very much in depth about the whole skill flooring and skill ceiling thing, and it's actually quite educational, I would say. It's pretty good. So if you have time to check out a good video and you're wondering about that, you can end up checking that out. Skill floor and skill ceiling are like two design things that you always have to look at. Modern games are always looking to kind of lower that skill floor because the gaming market is just so, I guess, crowded? Almost. There's so many people that play video games nowadays, and you have to make it so that, anybody can pick up your game to be marketly viable, because, publishers spend so much money on their games, and there's some, kind of edge cases and stuff like that, and there's some niche cases, niche titles and things like that kind of get away with having a very high skill floor. I would say, what's a good example right now? A lot of, tactics games and things like that, they can get away with having... Oop, I died. Wow. I died. Whoops. They have a lot of these archaic kind of mechanics and things like that because that's what people expect of it. And so they kind of get away with it because it's a niche audience and they're able to get away with it. Let's say Pillars of Eternity. There's a good one. To where that's a very niche game. And they don't kind of throw away mechanics just to be easier. They actually throw in mechanics to make it more difficult and more niche because that's what that audience is searching for. But for the most part, most games are just looking to lower that skill floor. The problem is that a lot of modern AAA games end up kind of screwing that bit up, and they end up not only lowering the skill floor, but they lower the skill ceiling as well. They remove mechanics that would allow for in-depth options and stuff like that. And now we're destroying a generator. This is like a turret section, except boring. Actually, turret sections are pretty boring as well. I remember they were my worst parts of Shadow Warrior, when you had to go on a turret and shoot things. It was just like, I don't care about the shooting whatsoever. But at least you were shooting demons and there was gore and blood and you made snarky comments all the time, which was quite fun. I got an E rank because I died. I'm sorry, I'm not playing that well today. I'm not blasting through it as well as I was before. We're almost done with the hero story though. We're 1 or 2 stages away. I think we're 2 stages away. I think the next one might be a Knuckles stage. No, we're 4 stages away. We're 4 stages away, because then there's 2 more on Sonic, 1 more on Knuckles, and then I think we're done with the hero story, which is pretty good. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about the skill floor and skill ceiling. And modern games kind of like ruin it so that, you know, the skill like ceiling is gone, basically. They just make it the skill floor, which is why a lot of people kind of get mad about modern games in general, or, you know, hardcore gamers at least. And a lot of people fail to see that. They're like, oh, well, I can play this. What's wrong with that? It's one of those things where a lot of people play games for a challenge. Like me specifically, I play a lot of games for their challenge specifically. I was talking about Dragon Nest earlier, to where, you know, they removed the ultra hard difficulty mode from a lot of dungeons, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care to play it anymore, because it's like that was the reason I was having fun, was because I was challenging myself. It's not so much of, oh, I'm just killing things and leveling up and stuff like that. It was that challenge. And sure, there are some experiences to where I'm like, yeah, I just want to play and level up a little bit and just kind of like chill out. But like if I want to play something like that, you know, I'll play Dynasty Warriors or Shinran Kagura recently, which is actually a good one. I love the show for that game because it's so out there and people are like, what? And I'm like, it's actually a good game. Or I play something like Sonic that I've played through like 1,000 times. Like right now I'm playing through here. Amy is... There was more to that sentence. I know it, Tails. I know it. Why do games never do that properly? The whole cutout thing. Like I was playing through the Neptunia game, Neptunia Rebirth 1, and they do that whole staticky thing to where it's like, I can't hear you. And it's like, that's not how it would work. It would be like, I hear you. And you'd be like, what? That's exactly what it would be like. And you're like, okay, cool. And they don't do it right. They need to start doing it right. I'm getting some ping issues on my thing. I apologize if the stream is delaying and stuff like that. It won't show up on YouTube, which is pretty much where everyone watches this, so hey. Yeah, so we got this level on Knuckles, and we got 2 more Sonic levels, I think. Then we're done? Unless the final Sonic level... Is there another Sonic or Knuckles level after this? Oh no, we gotta fight Rouge. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I despise this level. This level is not as bad as Rouge's level, but like, god damn, I hate this level. So we need to find a TV screen, or else we're going to be wandering for days. But yeah, I'm really disappointed in a lot of modern games. That's why I don't play a lot of modern games, because they don't have the elements that I like in games. Like, I love a challenge, and I love story, and both of those seem to kind of like be put on the sidelines for a lot of games. Destroy the water worker enemy, oh, whatever, somewhere. Dangerous water drops. Oh, we already have found one camera. I was not paying attention. Or TV screen. God, my speaking is terrible today. Once again, apologies. So I think we gotta go up. Water droplets. Shite. I can't remember this map. We need to open this gate here, though. I don't remember where that switch is. But we'll find it eventually. Anyways, yeah, so I'm kind of disappointed in a lot of modern games because they kind of like skimp out on one or both of those. Or they kind of like go for a medium ground, which, I mean, is fine in some cases, especially when it's a niche title, but like, I need a good set of both in some sort of sense, or at least some sort of personality to the game, which a lot of modern games don't have a lot of personality. I mean, The Witcher 3 stands out as one game to where it may not be necessarily challenging. Like, I don't find that game challenging at all. Like, kind of tear through that game. But at the same time, the world and everything like that, it's a game with personality. It has an identity. And it feels great and everything like that. Oh, wait, there's a switch over here. And then there's other games where it's like, let's say, every Call of Duty or every Battlefield, where it's just like, it's just another Battlefield game. It's just another Call of Duty game. And like, yes, that's sort of a personality, but at the same time, it's so generic and boring. And there's other modern games that have come out too that I just haven't even tried. And it's like, I don't care. But supposedly people have been like enjoying this year for games for the most part. Last year was kind of boring. I remember last year there was like maybe one game I was interested in, and I didn't actually know I was interested in that game until this year. And so I actually played it this year. Wait, Witcher 3 came out last year, didn't it? Did that come out at the early this year, or did that come out last year? I can't remember exactly. If it came out last year, that was easily the best game that released last year. If it came out this year, then that's easily the best game that came out this year. That game is incredible. Okay, here we are. Water droplets, not that way. We gotta go this way. Is it upwards? No, it is downward. Gotta kill him. There we go. They're water drops. Too heavy to float. Okay, so it's going to be downwards, probably. This is my favorite thing, as a kid, just going, wee! I don't know why. Anyway, so there's something that's too heavy to float, so I assume it's going to be down, because if it's not floating, it's going to be down here. That's my logic. I don't know if this game actually applies logic to its things, but hey, we're going to try it regardless. Oh yeah, you can break these things too. There we go. There's nothing in that one. Lame. There's a TV screen. Let's see where we're going. A big floating platform. God damn it. It's too heavy to float, but it's on a heavy platform. Oh, it's talking about probably a box or something that's not floating on a platform that is floating. That would make sense. It's this way. So we got to go this way. Let's take this rocket up. Wait, is it this way? Yes, it is this way. So it's going to be about in the middle there, I think. Somewhere around here. Too heavy to float. That's too heavy to float. Is it here somewhere? Is it below us? There it is. Found it. Sweet. Okay. That actually helped out quite a bit. I've never been this analytical with these. I've just kind of like always wandered around because every time I'm playing this game, I'm not actually trying to like finish it. I'm just kind of like, I'm just screwing around because it's like, goddamn missiles. Not missiles. Whatever. Words. Yeah. I can't talk today. Why am I doing a podcast? Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about other stuff. What else have I been playing? I haven't really been playing anything else. I mean, I've been playing just random games to go in my top 10 of the year, but like I'm not talking about those yet. We'll talk about them next time on our Christmas podcast. Actually, is there going to be another episode before the end of the year? No, I think that's the last one. Yeah, next week will be a Christmas one. Hopefully I get somebody else to show up. That would be great, because I don't want to talk about Christmas stuff by myself, because that's depressing. But hey, you could come and hang out with me on Christmas Eve if you want to. I don't think I have plans. I have plans for Christmas, but no. Floating around the moon. What was the other one? A lot of small meteorites. Okay, we're going to go up. Up, I believe. So yeah, news-wise, Twitch has actually introduced a new auto mod system, which has for some reason become controversial lately. I don't know why, but I've been seeing a lot of people up in roars about it, which is kind of strange. I think it mostly has to do with what a lot of people are saying about it. A lot of people are like, yay, Twitch chat is finally fixed because they have auto mod. I have auto mod turned on moderate or whatever, so it's like if you try and type in naughty words, they'll show up, but if you try and comment on people's genders, it probably won't. I don't know how it works, quite frankly. I didn't do too much research on it. I was going to do a video on it because I thought it was interesting, but then I was just like, that's not worth it, because, yeah. I actually haven't really done a lot of videos this week. I worked on videos, but I didn't release anything. Okay, so a lot of small meteorites. There is a section that is floating outwards from this section. Oh, yeah, there's the phoenix. Let's go ahead and get a phoenix. Rare creature. Yay, that's the only one I've gotten so far. A lot of small meteorites, so it's going to be this way, somewhere over the space station. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, they have a new automod system, so if you don't know what that is, basically it's a system for people who are hosting on Twitch that basically makes it so that it'll kind of like capture smart images and stuff like that. It'll be like, hey, you know, you said something questionable that our bot picked up. And so it's like a pretty advanced filter bot, and then it'll send those messages to the moderators of that channel, which in my case would be me, and then it would be like, hey, you know, is this message okay? And there will be, like, you can set a time limit and everything like that to its allowance and things like that, or you could just have it straight up just not show the message at all, which is what probably some people are going to do. And you can set it to different degrees, so you can be like, oh, I want it to be super strict and not show anything that's even slightly suggestive or anything like that, or you can just set it pretty lax, and I have it set on so that, you know, there's no racist comments or anything. Now, one thing that's been kind of annoying about the media recently about it is they've been talking a lot about how, oh, Twitch has finally introduced moderator tools. And, like, quite frankly, Twitch has moderator tools. Quite a few of them, actually. I've played around with a lot of them. They have, like, an automatic ban list and everything like that. And sure, having this sort of automod system would have been interesting to have beforehand, but this is probably, you know, part and due to kind of Amazon's work inside the bot industry and everything like that. So if you don't know, Twitch is owned by Amazon. Newsflash. This happened, like, forever ago. Also, this fight kind of sucks. I hate this fight. Because every time you just kind of, like, fly around and then just, like, boring. I need to hit her in the face or something like that. I don't remember how to fight her, like, fluently. I used to know how to, like, instantly kill her, but I don't remember it anymore. So, there you go. But yeah, so basically it's probably because Amazon's, you know, actually got the, not only funding, but the technology for it as well. So it'd be like, oh yeah, we need to do this. And it's like, cool, yeah, there's some new tools. But yeah, they've already had moderating tools. You can also end up setting it so that, you know, moderators see messages early and stuff like that, all the way up to like 10 seconds. So moderators have like 10 seconds to moderate the chat and stuff like that. But if you don't have moderators, the automod is going to be pretty sweet. So like for me, I'm not a large channel or anything like that, especially on Twitch. My Twitch followership is basically non-existent. And so basically, you know, it'll allow me to have a little bit more control over my chat, you know, just in case somebody toxic shows up. But from my experience, I haven't really run into anybody that's toxic. You know, the most toxic, you know, kind of things that have happened are just friends just jumping in and not really being toxic, just being playful and stuff like that, which is just fine. Like they'll come in and be like, "Oh man, you suck." So, yeah, you're a friend. I get it. That's what friends do. For some reason, I don't understand it myself, and I participate in it. But at the same time, it's kind of weird. Why do friends do that? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be an asshole to you for no reason. And like everyone does it. It's kind of strange. I'm mostly cool though. It's just fun to kind of mess with people. You know, like in League of Legends, me and my friend will try and steal each other's kills all the time. It's pretty fun. I'll be playing on like, let's say I'll be support Karma or something like that, and I'll save my ult just to try and steal his kills. It's just how it works. It's just messing around and having fun. I don't know why that's fun though. If any psychologists are out there and understand why, please tell me. I would love to know. Leave it in the comments. Also, I won that fight. Yay. That was quite smooth, I think, I would like to say. Her ears are still moving. Wobble, 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 wobble. Her ears move more than her other regions. So yeah, Automod, that's super awesome. I like it. I haven't been able to use it much because I don't stream often and nobody watches my stream to begin with, but it'll be super awesome in the future, and I'm sure that it'll get better and better as time goes on. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see more tools from Twitch. They also introduced some new stream testing stuff, which I did 2 test streams before I started the podcast. I don't know if anybody saw it. But, like, I went on there, and I'm like, okay, I've tested the stream and everything like that. And then Twitch pops up, like, hey, by the way, you can actually set it to do a test stream, and it won't go actual live, but you'll be able to see the stream on your dashboard. I'm like, really? Thanks for telling me that now. So now I got 2 videos that are up there. It's just me testing it real quick. I tried to switch to a CPU preset in XSplit. Right now I'm using the NVIDIA codec because it works and everything like that. And it didn't look better. Like, it actually looked worse. And I'm like, how is that possible? So I ended up setting the CPU preset to absolute maximum. You know, I set the bitrate to absolute, which is 3K. Twitch doesn't allow you to go above, I think, either 3K or 3.5K. I can't remember exactly, but I don't go above 3K because your kind of bitrate always goes above a little bit, and then it goes below. It you know, fluctuates a little bit, and so I always keep it 3K. And it also allows people, since I'm not partnered, because they won't partner me because I don't have the viewership for it, but like, since I'm not partnered, people have to watch the stream as source, which 3K is reasonable, but at the same time, some people will get stuttering, things like that, if they have slow connections and things like that. So, you know, obviously the archive's up, so if you want to watch it on YouTube, it's always there. But yeah, so I was trying to do that, and just like, it looked terrible for no reason whatsoever. So I just went back to my old setting. I'm running it at 30 FPS today, though. Like, I think I mentioned that earlier. Instead of 60 FPS, because when I was doing 60 FPS, it was kind of like, oh yeah, you've got all this stuff that, you know, has to process, and it made the video quality worse and worse as, you know, more action scenes were going on, because more frames had to be rendered. So now I'm just streaming it at 30 FPS, which I love 60 FPS video. I was one of the first people to try and jump on that, especially at my subscriber size. I remember in forums and Reddit and things like that, people were like, it's not worth it, nobody watches it, and yada yada yada, and some people actually had problems with it. There is a box in there, but I don't have the flame thing yet. I actually get it in this level. Oh yeah, this little jump thing, that's always cool. I don't know why it does that, but it's cool. Sorry. That was a thing. I remember finding that and showing my stepbrother. He's like, why does it matter? And I'm like, I don't know, it's freaking cool, deal with it. So there's a thing. Anyways, yeah, so basically, I, you know, love 60 FPS video. I think it is the way that everything should go because it just looks so much smoother and everything. You can see details so much better. You know, having 30 FPS is just abysmal. Like, it's so amazing to look back at all the games I used to play and they all ran at like 30 FPS and stuff like that, and I never noticed it really because I was used to it. Like, I was just a kid and didn't really bother with it. But then, like, when I moved to PC gaming, and I mean, when I was on the 360, I kind of noticed it as well. Like, I was starting to see the difference between 60 FPS and 30 FPS games because, quite frankly, our eyes are quite amazing. We can see beyond that, of course. I know some media outlets love to say we can't, but we can, quite frankly. We don't work off a frame rate. I'll have a video eventually about that because it pisses me off so much. But regardless, you know, it's kind of hard to see it when you only see 30 FPS because, like, every game nowadays just runs at 30 FPS nonstop. It's like, hey, we've got this game and it has to look pretty and stuff like that, so we've got to run it at 30 FPS. Oh, god damn it, I hate that jump. What is that? There is a box out there and it is green, and it is probably a debug box. Either that or it's a rendering error. One of those two. We've been seeing a lot of rendering errors. I don't know why. That's just a thing that happens, I guess. Anyways, what I was saying. It's so amazing to look back at a lot of games that I used to play that run at 30 FPS, and I'm like, wow, like, let's say Pikmin, for example. That's a game that I played a hell of a long time ago, and I actually recently replayed it. That game runs at 30 FPS and looks atrocious. I don't remember that aspect of it. I remember it running perfectly smooth and everything like that, because your memory is not exactly 100%. But going back to it, it was actually pretty difficult to play. I tried running it on an emulator to run it at a 60 FPS patch that ended up having bugs and things like that, so that didn't really work out very well. So yeah, that was kind of lame to play, I would say. But essentially, like, if you went onto it, it was like, here's 60 FPS. I'm like, 60 FPS looks so amazing. And then I go to 30 FPS. I'm like, this looks wrong. It doesn't look right. And there's certain games that I kind of like rough it out on. Final Fantasy Type 0 had a 30 FPS cap as well. And that's one game that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna rough it out because I like it. It's fun. It's a fun game, but it's one of those games. It's like a very heavy action game. It's a very, very fast pace. And you could tell, like, instantly the second you are in combat, you're like, this is not running where it should be. Like, it should be 60 FPS. And I don't think anybody's made a 60 FPS patch yet because it's like the game was originally on the PSP, I believe. And when they actually do these kind of games on, like, portable systems and stuff like that, like, a lot of people don't realize this, but, like, when you lock the frame rate, you're able to do a lot of, like, optimizations and things like that onto your kind of rendering engine and things like that, and your scripting, which makes the game like a million times easier to run, which is extremely important. Here's the fire ring. Yay. I think you have to grab that. Yeah, you have to grab it. And so, like, when they have these frame locks, they actually, like, integrate it into the game to make the game run faster. Like, it's not just one of those things of, like, we're going to lock the frame rate because we can. You know, it's not like a lot of modern games to where, you know, they're running on modern engines that can handle any frame rate at once. It's one of those cases to where they literally, like, have to change individual game mechanics for it to work. There's one game that has a lot of 60 FPS issues that they've actually been fixing inside of a patch and everything like that, which is actually quite amazing. Tales of Asteria. Originally when I played it on 30 FPS, and I was like, you know what, sure, I could, but I wasn't enjoying the game enough to actually, like, stick it out and stay at 30 FPS, but then they came out with a patch. I'm like, alright, cool, I'll try out the patch. The patch had a few bugs in it and stuff like that, and it was breaking cutscenes, which was kind of disappointing because the entire reason why you play those games is for the story. You don't necessarily play for the gameplay. While the gameplay is decent in those games, like Tales of Asteria probably has one of the better ones. I think I like Vesperia better because I think I understood its mechanics more. But like Tales of Asteria has a ridiculous number of mechanics in it, which is actually pretty cool. And it's not just mechanics in the gameplay, it's actually mechanics in the world as well. So you'll be like, you know, oh, I gotta walk to this place, and they actually have it so that characters will be cooking in the background and get you materials, or they have it so that you can, like, get casual XP, or you can make it so that they charge up skills and things like that, and they have different world skills where you're able to have, like, kind of almost investing in different shops and things like that, which was a system I loved in, what was it called? Not The Last Guardian. Wow! Man, that's a game that came out as well. I haven't played that one. It doesn't look very good. Crap. What was it called? Oh my god, The Last Remnant. There we go. It was The Last something. I knew it. And that actually had an investment system to where the more you shopped from shops and the more you traded with them, the better equipment and stuff like that they got. And they have that mechanic in Zestiria as well. Like, the game has so many mechanics that are really, really interesting inside the world. I'm just not 100% into the story. It's one of those Heroes Tales things to where it's like, I'm a hero and I'm out to save the world. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, that's kind of weird. I'm really looking forward to Baziria, though. I think I mentioned that last week, maybe, or maybe I was talking with a friend. I can't remember exactly. But, like, that game is very much a darker story, and I love those darker stories. It's one of the reasons why I enjoyed, whatchamacallit, why am I not remembering names today? I mean, I never remember names, but, like, today it just seems extra bad. But, Fairy Fencer F, there we go. It was one of those games to where it's like, you know, anime style and everything like that, but it was such a dark story and it had such a dark overtone to it that I actually enjoyed it a lot. Like, I enjoyed the art style and everything like that. Game's not very good, but, like, I enjoyed it enough that I was able to play through it because of probably that mechanic I just missed, and that's probably going to kill me. I don't think I can recover for this. Goodbye, world. I used to die on this level a lot as a kid. Because, like, you have to do that specifically in a certain way, and the physics in this game are so bad. And so sometimes it'll just do it wrong. And so you're like, oh no. Like that railing part. You can actually, like, down spiral, like you use this bounce ability to actually get on the rail quicker instead of waiting for that entire animation. But if you do that, there's a chance that it will just fling you off to the side and you'll die. And I'm like, alright, well, cool. And you can notice I'm getting stuck on boxes and things like that as well. Like, the controls are super wonky for this as well. Like, it's based off of the ground you're on. And so, like, my up is, like, sideways now, and so you have to, like, kind of recalibrate every time you change the gravity. It's It's not very good, but old game. This type of mechanic was actually really cool. People love to forget the games had these mechanics in them. There was actually a game on the PlayStation that had this mechanic to where you actually, like the entire game, it was kind of like a 4-player battle arena game to where you basically worked the entire thing by like switching gravity over and over again. There is a secret area here as well, by the way. I'm just not going to it, unless this is a secret area. I don't think it is. There's Big the Cat. Didn't notice him last time. Yeah, there's a little secret thing here. Can I jump off early? There we go. I just don't want to die again because I don't like this section. Oh my god, why did I do that? Go away. I'm okay. Okay. I need to, like, don't touch it. Okay. Here, I need a ring dash. Walk slowly. Up is, like, diagonal. That's up right now. Up is diagonal. Down is diagonal. That's sort of right. There we go. Okay, cool. I think I'm good. Maybe. But yeah, there was a game on the PlayStation that I enjoyed a lot. We only had the demo, and then I played it at a friend's house that actually owned it. And, like, that was one of those games where I'm like, this is cool. Like, this is a really cool concept. And I've been waiting for people to make a new game like it for years. Like, I just want to see it again. And it's like, I can't remember the name of it, but it was, like, actually a really cool concept. It wasn't executed particularly well, but it was fun nonetheless. It was just a fun little arena game that you'd play. So, that was fun. Yeah, I was talking about Tales of Zestiria, and that's basically that. That's the next JRPG I'm playing through when I get to this Neptunia thing, I think. I need to go through and finish it. Like, I need to finish a Tales game for once, because I never like finish Tales games. I get most of the way through them. I enjoy most of them. Like, Tales of Vesperia, I enjoyed to the fullest extent. And, like, that's probably my favorite one, but I still never finished it, because I was, like, 50 hours into that game, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with console. Like, that was the only reason why I still had my... Sorry, you fell, little guy. I haven't named this guy yet. We should name him soon. Anyways, yeah, so, like, I was playing through that game, but it was like, I was done with console. Like, that was the only reason why I had my 360 still. That and Burnout. And so, yeah, it was one of those situations where I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to have my Xbox plugged in, and then I ended up moving and things like that to where I didn't have my Xbox anymore for a while. It was in storage, and I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to be able to come back to this game now because, like, I've played it enough to where I'm like, I know what's going to happen, but at the same time, it's, I don't know, it's just difficult to go back into a game that you're going to spend 50 hours in again, which I guess I'm doing that with the Neptunia games, so I guess it's not impossible, but at the same time, I don't know if I'll enjoy it necessarily, especially since it's on the 360, and apparently it runs at 30 FPS, which I'm not a fan of. I can't play 30 FPS games anymore. It's very, very difficult. I have to really, really rough it out. We need to name this guy. I don't know what I'm going to name him yet, but we'll name him when we go into the dark story. Which we might actually get there in this podcast. This is going to actually take longer than I thought it was because these levels are actually taking a lot longer than I remember them taking. I forgot that the levels just get progressively longer. Oh yeah, here's the second Eggman fight. Oh no, that Tails mouth. Wait, is this the fight? Yeah, it is the fight. Okay. He's like, I'm here. And then Eggman's like, I'm going to shoot that wall over there if you don't take care of it. Are we dead? Are we done?
If you really care for her. Handing over the fake emerald, I can kill 2 birds.
Why are you saying this out loud? He's saying in his mind, but they don't indicate that in any way. And Tails is like, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. And then like Eggman's like, do it. And then Sonic's like, I'm gonna do it. We're doing it.
Turned into a big time villain, Doctor.
And then everyone's like, yep, that was obvious. Because Eggman's like, there you go. And then Sonic dies. Spoiler alert. So what's some news that's going on? Oh man, this week has been so drab on news. That's why I haven't had any videos, because like I haven't finished that review because I'm an idiot. And there just hasn't been any news. Like I was gonna do a video on the Automod thing, and I'm like, it's not very interesting, and it's kind of sparked up controversy, and I love to like dodge controversy and stuff like that. Oh. De Novo, I just pulled up some new stuff on the side. De Novo, the whole anti-cheat, or not anti-cheat, anti-piracy company, has actually stated and confirmed that they do not do refunds if their kind of anti-piracy gets, like, cracked. Because a lot of people were like, oh no, because Doom got cracked apparently, which, that's inevitable. It's a big, giant title. People are obviously going to try and pirate it for whatever reason. I'm not into piracy, of course. I don't support it in any way, shape, or form, but I know people do it. Whatever. I know there's certain cases where it's okay, but at the same time, those cases are so few. You know, the one case that I can think of in any sort of recent memory is that Hotline Miami, I believe that's the name. Yeah, Hotline Miami wasn't available in Australia, and so the devs are just like, yeah, go pirate it or buy it in another region or something like that. We don't care. Like, that's one of those cases where it's like, sure, just that's kind of how it works, because you literally cannot obtain it legally. And then there's also like old games and stuff like that, where I'm very much about, you know, supporting the developer. And so, you know, if you can't get like an old game or something like that, I'm not necessarily against downloading. I always try to own the copy, of course, but like sometimes it's like a case to where this game was on the NES and literally getting a copy is going to cost you hundreds of dollars. So I don't necessarily blame people for using emulators, which 90% of the time I'm like, who cares, really? But yeah, that's my stance on that, if anybody cares. Oh god, he's going to have a laser. Dodge a laser. I dodged a laser. We don't have a laser. You actually get to use that in the multiplayer, to where you actually have two-player battle and stuff like that. You collect the rings and it allows you to use special abilities, which in this mode, they just have it so that the AI has abilities and you don't, which is kind of lame. Anyways, Lenovo's not doing refunds, and the way that this kind of worked is a lot of people were kind of questioning, because there was an article a long time ago that kind of spread around the internet pretty quickly, to where they're like, Lenovo claims that their DRM cannot be cracked, and then they kind of confirmed that they didn't actually say that. They're like, no, it's just very hard to crack. And so eventually it will get cracked. And then they were very vocal about, you know, we didn't say that at all. We were just like we say it's hard to crack. We do not say it is uncrackable. And eventually it will get cracked if people care enough. And so Doom got cracked. And people were like, oh my god, are they going to get a refund because it was supposed to be uncrackable and everything like that? And Lenovo's like, no, because the point of anti-piracy is to make sure that the games have a nice sell window. As in, basically, when the game releases, they want... I'm fixing my speakers real quick, sorry. Why is that wiggling? There we go. For some reason, my screen was shaking. I think I'm pushing my desk too much. Anyways, the point of anti-piracy is to make it so that a game has a sales window. And so they have a window to where the game will be sold to people who want to buy it, and they don't have any worries about, you know, people just going to pirate it instead, you know, because there are people that just pirate games for no reason whatsoever, just because they don't have the money or anything like that, because they're shitty people. But quite frankly, you know, in certain cases, they just, you know, look at it and they're like, oh, well, I can't pirate it, so fine, I'll just buy it. And, you know, that's what anti-cheat is for. You know, it's to make sure that those cases are... Oh my god, the physics here are so god atrocious. Oh, I forgot they were so bad. This is the final Sonic level, by the way. I think this is the final level in the hero story, actually. And so... Oh my god, seriously, did I just do that? I physically hurt from that. Anyways... Yeah, this is the final Sonic level. So, that's one thing that people need to understand, is like, anti-piracy, I'm not doing this side thing. There's extra lives up there, but I'm just like, I don't care. This level actually is pretty cool. It has like a bunch of different pathways and stuff like that. Like, this is one of the best or most interesting levels, I would say. Next to Green Forest. I love the Green Forest level. But this is like one of the more interesting hero levels in here. But, you know, people need to understand that anti-piracy is not about, you know, making it so that nobody will ever play your game ever. Or ever pirate your game ever. It's mostly about the sales window. You know, getting the people who are going to buy the game to buy the game. Because there are people out there who are pretty lame, and they will be like, yeah, I'm just going to pirate it because I don't want to pay money. Whatever, screw that. We all know that it's eventually going to get pirated. Everything gets pirated. What the hell happened there? What? Oh my god, this game is just breaking my soul. I might run out of lives because of its terrible physics. I forgot it was so bad. You know, this game is... Oh my god. The camera is also terrible. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking about that. So, that sales window, you know, everyone knows their stuff's going to get stolen. You know, everything in every form of digital media has gotten stolen. I mean, even, like, movie theaters and stuff like that have people recording on their phones and stuff like that, which is dumb, quite frankly. But people do it. And they just have to kind of live with that fact. It's gonna happen. And so, yeah, they have measures against it, but at the same time, who cares, really? You know, in the end, somebody's gonna end up pirating it eventually, because people don't like to pay money for things, which I'm very much strongly against piracy for the most part. Like, it's... Well, not for the most part. I am against piracy. It's mostly like, you know, make sure that you're supporting the developer, because if you don't support the developer, they literally can't make the content you enjoy. Which, if you don't enjoy the content, then why the hell are you pirating it in the first place? Because some people like to make that argument where they're like, yeah, I pirate it because I don't really care or I don't like them or anything like that. It's like, then don't even pirate, because... Oh my god. I am hating this right now. But yeah, and it's like, don't even pirate it, because they still use that analytics to say, like, hey, people like this game. Like, let's say, for example, EA. They had a certain list based off of people who were pirating, I think it was The Sims or something like that. And they had a certain statistic that was like, oh yeah, a certain number of people are pirating it, which means that we've lost this many sales. You know, while that's not true, I guarantee you, like, 98% of the people that pirated The Sims are not going to go out and buy it, because that game is like $300 fucking dollars. But the point is, they're still going to use those numbers and be like, look at how many sales we've lost. This is why piracy is bad. And then they're also going to be like, well, piracy is obviously bad for other reasons, but they're also going to use that statistic to be like, oh, well, these are lost sales, when realistically they're not. I mean, you can be like, well, some of them are, but most of the time, it's not going to be people who are going to actually buy the game. And if these people didn't end up pirating them, which I don't know where they get their statistics from, to be honest, so I don't know if it'll actually help or not. But, you know, if these people didn't pirate these games, then these developers wouldn't end up making them making them do whatever makes them pirate in the first place. Like, let's say The Sims, for example, which is like a $300 game to actually get a full game out of it, which is freaking ridiculous, which is why I haven't bought a Sims since Sims 1, I think. And then I got Sims 2 for free on PC because they gave it away for free, which was pretty cool. But I have the Sims 2 Complete Edition, and my sister has it as well. I have a copy of The Sims 3 as well. When I was at my dad's in California, he had a copy of it, and so I have that. But, like, outside of that, like, I haven't actually, like, paid for it or anything like that since The Sims 1, because it was just so expensive to, like, buy into The Sims, especially when I'm one of those types of people that likes all those extra mechanics. Like, let's say Open for Business in The Sims 2 is, like, the defining factor of it. You know, I play like a kind of like shop simulator, almost like a Recettear sort of thing, except without the combat dungeons areas that are actually pretty cool. I need to play that game again. That game's great. I haven't played that for like over a year. That game's fantastic. If you've never played Recettear or Recettear, I think it's Recettear. I don't know for sure. There's a sheep. Yeah, that game's fantastic. But, you know, it's one of those cases where if they didn't end up pirating, then it wouldn't be so expensive and everything like that. Maybe not. I mean, games are already over expensive, and they already have over expectations for the number that they gotta sell. I remember, like, I think it was Tomb Raider that sold like 10 million copies, and they weren't happy with it. I'm like, that is a ridiculous number of people. Like, seriously, there's like 7 billion people on Earth, and over 6 billion people don't have access to like proper internet. So like, you're kind of stretching the limits here. So yeah, but regardless, that's a good game as well. What's some other news? I don't think there's any other news that I actually care about going on right now. There's been some drama bits going on. I know that No Man's Sky has been finally getting updates, and I think that happened last week, and I didn't talk about it. But it's finally getting updates, and people are somewhat both on the side of disappointed and both on the side of excited, because a lot of people are not happy with the updates being kind of lame. Also, there's the secret area that we could go to once we get this song. Wait, can we get the song here? Oh, shite. I think this is where we get the song. I need to go get the song. I'm going to get the mysterious tune. Is it mysterious tune or is it mysterious song? I don't remember. I don't know. You're able to whistle at those tune things, and I think you get it here. I think this is where you get it. I missed the one for Tails. I didn't go and get it for Tails. I'm going to have to apologize for that. It's right here, maybe? Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I might be wrong. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. I don't know. I always just went this way. There it is. Sweet. The Mystic Melody. There it is. Mystic Melody. And then we can use these things. And this is what these do. Doom, doom, doom. Now you can go back to the other levels and get the extra bonus objectives and stuff like that. There we go. We're not going to do that. Anyways, yeah, so I don't think there's been any news. There's the No Man's Sky thing. I don't have an opinion on it, to be quite frank. No Man's Sky was interesting from a developer standpoint because of how much of a disaster it was and how we learned how not to do PR. And also simultaneously how to do PR if you want to be a shitty developer. But at the same time, you know, them doing updates isn't necessarily going to affect me because I don't like the game. And I never looked forward to the game. I always knew it was kind of going to be a bomb. Like, they always do these things to where it's like, oh, it's going to be amazing and everything like that. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, quite frankly, it's always one of those things where it's like, unless it's a certain franchise that I know I'm going to be into, I ain't going to care. And so, like, let's say Sonic, for example. I know Sonic Mania is going to be fantastic, but, like, at the same time, I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be good, but I know it's going to be a somewhat experience aligned to what I'm going to enjoy, and so I'll look forward to that one. I'm sort of hyped for it. But for games like No Man's Sky, where it's just not only in a genre that I don't care about, but it's not from a developer that I care about either, I'm not gonna have any hype for it. Like, let's say every Call of Duty and stuff like that, I have no hype for them because like I don't play the Call of Duty games. Or let's say they introduce a new first-person shooter or anything like that. I'm not big on the first-person shooter genre. Like, I love Doom and I like Shadow Warrior, but like for the most part, I'm not that much into the first-person kind of shooter genre, and so I don't really care when I see those sort of things. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, cool, new first-person shooter. That's fine. For people who like it, that's great. For me, nah, don't care. So, you know, that's kind of how hype works for me. I get hyped for JRPGs. Like, I'm hyped for the Tales of Berseria coming out. I'm really excited for that one. But at the same time, I get excited for games that I actually like to play. So that's how that goes. What other news? Man. It's such a stricken week for news. And that's terrible because I'm by myself and I have no idea what to talk about. So, one second. Man, there's just like nothing going on. There's a streaming thing going on with League of Legends, and so BAMTech? I don't know what the hell they are. They forged some streaming rights deal with League of Legends, so they're going to be managing a bunch of streaming stuff. So, yeah, we're at the end of the hero story, though, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the hero story, and then we're going to name our Chow, I think. Maybe we'll name the Chow next time. I don't know. I don't know how much longer I can actually keep going. I don't know what's going on. It's also extremely hot in my apartment. My heater will not turn off, and it's just keep going. I actually, like... Before the stream, I changed my shirt to be the one. I actually wore it. I don't remember what episode it was, but I wore it in one of the episodes that has like a bunch of holes in it and stuff like that. It has new holes in the back too. It was stuck underneath my hamper when I was moving things around because my mom was visiting and was quickly cleaning up all my laundry because I was sorting it out and everything like that to go do it. And so I accidentally put new holes in the back of it, so there's even more holes in it now. But I'm wearing that shirt because it's nice and cool and everything like that, so it's pretty great. It's nice and airy. I might wear it every time I do the podcast now that we're not on webcams or anything like that, which we might do webcams again. I don't know how it would work, but we might eventually. I know some people liked it, and other people didn't. I have a dislike on my last podcast episode, which I don't know why. Nobody ever says like why they dislike a video, but I assume it's because I was playing Sonic, or it was because I was by myself. One of those two things, or maybe it's somebody that likes my reviews and they're like, I don't like this because it's not a review, which that would be perfectly fine because this podcast is like, it's sort of aligned to what I do on my channel, but at the same time it's sort of not. It's very much that sort of case to where it's like, I do it because I want to deal with it. Sort of thing. Like, I don't even have a large viewership on this. All my views come from my reviews and critical style content. So that's what I like. Also, this is like the coolest Shadow Boss fight next to the one in Generations. They redid this fight in Generations, and it is super awesome in that one too. I like it a lot. Although I gotta say, it's super easy in that game. Goodbye. This is pretty easy too. This is pretty much just get ahead of Shadow after you hit him, and then hit him in the back. Oh yeah, and you gotta dodge those. Woo! There we go. Oh god, and the platforms fall behind you. Very akin to Sonic 3? I think it's Sonic 3. Does Sonic 3 have the space level with the falling platforms? I can't remember. Maybe it's Sonic 2. No, I'm pretty sure it's Sonic 3. Or maybe it's not even Sonic 3. Maybe it's Sonic and Knuckles. I can't remember. Wow. My memory of certain games is like failing so terribly, especially today. Normally I remember. You can also hurt him with Ring Dash as well, which is how I used to fight in the battle stuff all the time. I remember when I was playing this with my stepbrother, I'd always dominate him because at the beginning of like every stage he'd be like collecting rings and he'd always miss one. I don't know why, but he'd like run off to the side a little bit and miss one ring and then I'd just ring dash into it and then kill him and then just finish the stage. I dominated this game as a kid. Pretty great. The 2-player mode is actually really fun on this. I just wish I had people to play online with it because it doesn't have online connectivity. Also, here's the sad bit. He's like, oh no, Sonic. I did it. I killed Eggman. He's dying. He's dying of a heart attack, not from my bullets, but that's okay.
Awesome job,
Never mind, he's not dying. He's going to use the Chaos Emerald to heal his cancer.
Look outside.
Would Chaos Emeralds be, like, radioactive? Because if you think about it, those things are, like, super omega powerful and everything like that. And then it's like, yeah, these things have, like, emitting power and stuff like that. That sounds radioactive. Like, that would probably give you cancer. Most likely. Also, here's the end of the hero's story. It's got a very anticlimactic ending because you're supposed to finish the other story and then finish the last story, which is cool. That was a game, wasn't it? The last story? That was like that Final Fantasy Estate game, right? I'm gonna look that up. I'm running out of topics, so I'm just like kind of going for whatever I can right now. Sonic's like, yay, I did it. Yeah, that is that game. God, I so want to try that. I don't have it. I need to find it. I have my Wii, and I have a setup that I can play my Wii. I was recently playing the Metroid Prime games like 3 weeks ago or something like that. I don't remember. Those games are fun. I love the Metroid Prime games. I wish they would make Metroid games like that, and I wish Nintendo would release games on PC for once. They're doing mobile games now. Oh yeah, the Mario Run game came out, which somebody posted on Twitter. I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but he posted like Sonic Jump and then Mario Run, because those are 2 mobile games on both of their franchises or whatever. And he's like, you guys kind of got this backwards. I'm like, that is so great, because it's so true. But like, Sonic has a game called Sonic Dash, which is basically Run. They just wanted to be original with it. And then when they were like, let's make a Mario Runner game, they were like, what should we name this? I don't know. How about Mario Run? Because Nintendo has no concept of originality whatsoever anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. Anyways, the last story was like almost a Final Fantasy game that looked really, really interesting back in the day, but I was never able to find it in stores. And then by the time I was able to find it, I just wasn't interested anymore because I didn't have my Wii. It was with my mom and sister for a long period of time, and I have it now. But it looks interesting. I need to go back and play this one. I might go and try and pick it up sometime. And maybe I'll talk about it next week or something like that. Because that's one of those games that's like, there's a lot of games that I missed. And a lot of people are like, hey, you should try this game. Because it's like, there's so many niche games out there where you're just like, I didn't hear about this and stuff like that. There's another one on the 360 that's a JRPG. God, I cannot remember the name of that one either. It's like The Resonance or something like that. I can't remember. But like, my friend was like, that one's awesome, you need to try it. And I'm like, I know. Like, people praise its combat system because it had like an interesting, because everyone used like ranged weapons. It was not a melee game, so it was kind of like pseudo real time, but at the same time it was turn based, and they used like a whole interesting combo and meter system, which looked really, really interesting back in the day. And I never ended up picking it up because, once again, it's one of those games that was very, very hard to kind of find. So yeah, I don't know. There's also games like Lost Odyssey, which is really long. This Wikipedia page for the last story mentioned Blue Dragon. That game was incredible. I love that game. It's very Japanese, and so a lot of the story bits are kind of like, what's going on and why do I care? And it's very kind of interesting, but it was surprisingly dark and surprisingly interesting. Like, the world it built reminded me very much of like Dragon Quest almost, where it's just kind of like sort of goofy, but at the same time sort of serious. Although I'd say Dragon Quest is like 99% goofy. Like, from what I've played, at least. I haven't played one for a long time. I love Dragon Quest Heroes. That one's a fun one. But you can't actually stream that one. You can now select scenes from the hero story. So if we want to go back and watch any scene that we ever wanted to, we can. We won't, quite frankly, unless somebody asks me to, which I don't think anybody will. Yeah, so now we have 2-player battle stuff. I think
Man steals the research from a military base located on an island to the south. The military's top secret weapon, Shadow.
This is the advertisement for the dark story within the game. I loved it when games did this. What was that game that did this? Oh my god. There was a game that did this. Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star Universe did the whole... Well, Phantasy Star Online did it too. But Phantasy Star Universe, in its single player and multiplayer modes, they had like the whole... Yeah, we're back at the title screen. It had this whole... Wait, I was going to go name it Chow. Oh, well, we'll start the dark story and then go back and do that. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. But yeah, there was they did this like episodic thing to where it's like episode 1, and it had like a whole introduction every time you changed chapters too, kind of like a TV series. It was so cheesy, but at the same time it was so great. Like, that entire game's like original story is so cheesy and perfect at the same time. And the voice acting was surprisingly good when I replayed it. So I have Phantasy Star Universe on the PC, so I might end up playing it. I do it in the background of some of my other topic videos and stuff like that. But like, that game was just the perfect amount of cheesy and perfect amount of awesome and the perfect amount of fantasy, to where it was like, this is a terrible story, but at the same time it's great. Alright, so we got that done. I don't know, this is the first level of the dark story. I didn't really mean to start it. I wanted to go to stage select. This is an annoying thing. There is a Chow Garden, like, kindergarten thing. So also they have a bunch of challenges for each stage. We're not going to play through those on stream unless I run out of games to play, which is pretty unlikely. We'll just go ahead and be Sonic. I want to go name the Chow real quick. So we'll name him something, I don't know. Nobody's in chat right now. I'm all alone. This is so sad. I do these videos and I'm like, I'm working so hard, and then nobody shows up, and I'm like, okay, cool. So that's lame. I'll grow an audience eventually. I've been actually getting a ton of comments over the years to where people are like, you make really good videos for not having anybody watching them. And I'm like, thanks. Share it, please. Because that helps. Yeah. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We got to go to the fortune-telling house. And then she's like, you want to name the Chow? Let's give him a lucky name. And he tells the fortune. And the fortune is going to be Presto. How about the name Che? No. Really? Do you like the name? You want a different name? Yes. Okay, I'll try again. Wait, no, I was supposed to say no. God damn it. Presto. So this is kind of convoluted. To name your own Chow, you've got to do that, and then you got to say no, and then you got to say yes, because you got to name your Chow yourself. I always name my Chow Mushi, so let's go ahead and do Mushi. I don't remember where that came from, but I always name him Mushi. I'm sure it means something inappropriate, and I was a kid and thought it was funny. I should probably Google search that in a second. And then you also have this little shop to where you can buy stuff from the black market. I remember when I told my grandmother that, she's like, what? Because obviously grandparents, they don't understand anything in video games. Also, this fruit here, the Chow fruit, is the best fruit in the game. It gives all of your skills, unless you're trying to go for a very specific Chow. But it gives all the skills while they eat it, including stamina, which is like super important. If you want to know about last week, you can watch that. I believe the mushroom was supposed to be healthy and stuff like that, and I don't remember if it actually affected anything or not, but it was supposed to. In the first game, it stopped him from dying, but in this one, I don't know if it actually does anything. Then you can use your rings to buy stuff. I'm not going to buy anything. We're just going to go back and do other stuff. So the more emblems you collect, the more stuff you get in there. You can actually get some secret stuff in there as well, which normally I save my rings for because it's ridiculous. This game could end up getting quite grindy if you wanted to do the Chow stuff, because you required a lot of time and a lot of rings to really do much. And so we've got Mushi here. If you pick him up, it shows his name, Mushi. I really don't know where that is from. I'm going to look that up and then end the stream because I am tired and out of things to say. My nose is also clogging up, which is not particularly fun. Google Translate. Let's open up Google Translate. Oh, man. Is my Japanese not on my laptop? I'm using my laptop on the side. Let's go watch him drown. He is drowning. You know what? I'm going to save you because I'm a good guy. There we go. Actually, before we end the stream, let's go ahead and do some Chow stuff. Let's go and make them fight each other. That's a good way to end this. This is something to do kind of in between. Let's do karate. Let's have them beat each other up. So this requires the Battle DLC or whatever, or the Battle Edition. So on the GameCube and the on PC, it requires the DLC to be able to play it. So you select your Chow, and then they kind of have stats and stuff like that. And it takes forever to load, apparently. Let's do beginner, and it should put us into the fight. There it goes. You're able to cheer him on too, but I don't actually know what it does. Anyways, I'm gonna Google search this. Why is my Japanese not on my laptop? That's weird. I have like an IME to where it like types in Japanese when you type in on your normal keyboard. Go! But it's not working on my laptop for some reason. Range. Click on here. There we go. Okay, let's Google search Mushi. Nope, that just typed it in caps. Why isn't this working? Actually, my taskbar is not working either. Might not work. It might not work at all. I have Japanese IME typed in, but it's not turning on. Did I win? I won. Cool. Well, I'll find out eventually. Somebody, if you know what Mushi means, go ahead and type it in the comments. I don't actually know what it means. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and I guess sit here for this. I guess we may as well just finish this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just trying to end the stream and I'm like doing stupid stuff. Sorry if it's not very entertaining. What else can I talk about? I guess I'll do my shill section of the video of my closing comments. This has been Michael. I'm the host of this whole shebang and probably going to be doing it solo for a while. Is he starting to get a little tiny band on his chest? He is. That's cool. He's starting to turn into a hero. Anyways, yeah, I've been Michael and Michael P. Stanich. You can check me out on the YouTube, so we have the links in the overlay. You can end up checking those out. The archives of this podcast also go up on my channel as well, so you can go ahead and check those out. But I do mostly reviews, like impression reviews and topic videos where I talk about different types of stuff. I'm working on other types of series that I'll eventually get out. Also, why is he sleeping? He's going to get knocked out. Match over. Fatality. Yeah, and they always have like a creepy face when they smile. They're terrifying. Are we done now? Oh my god, how many times do I have to win for this? I think I have to win one more time. I'm fighting Chowco. Chowco! That sounds like a toy manufacturer. Like Namco. Chowco, Capcom. I thought it was Capco for a second there, and I'm like, wait, brain, it's not, it's Capcom. Has Capcom released any games that I'm interested in recently? I can't think of the last Capcom game I've wanted. Supposedly, they care about Mega Man again. It's probably because it's his birthday today, I think. Or whatever. Mega Man birthday, I think, was either today or tomorrow, or it's yesterday. I don't remember which one. It's somewhere around there. Somewhere around now. So celebrate the Mega Man stuff. Mega Man's a great series, except that Capcom kind of killed it after a while. Is it Capcom that runs Mega Man? God, my knowledge is just totally out the door today. I think it's Capcom. It's probably Capcom. Oh my god, I have to win more of these? Seriously? Oh, I have to win 5 of them. Oh my god, I just want to end this, get a food, and take a nap. Semi-final. Fight! The music is very, very cheerful. They're not doing anything. I thought I was supposed to be able to cheer them on, but maybe I'm only able to do that in the races. Like, you can go, near, near, and then it's like, yay. Also, my Chow is kicking the asses of everything. So, that's good. I'm seriously out of things to say. Like, I don't even have, like, a topic or anything like that. Just scroll through some more sort of news stuff, I guess. Tapping in my laptop. Overwatch released holiday skins. League of Legends has holiday skins. Christmas stuff is soon. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about my end of the year review thing. So, every year, if you don't know what I do at the end of every year, is basically I do a video to where instead of looking at the games that released that year that are good, I look at the games that I played this year that are good. And so this can include games that I even played last year and stuff like that. So it's basically the top 10 games that I've played like within this year that I enjoyed. So it's mostly sort of like a recommendation series where it's like, I recommend these games and this is why. And this is why they kind of deserve these praise. And so I kind of like have a sort of charter thing going on for that. And I've been working on it recently. That's why I was actually playing the original Sonic games, because I played those a while back. And I'm like, wow, these actually hold up really, really well. And so those will probably be in that list. But like, I don't know. I'll be doing that. And so that's always interesting. So if you're tired of all the whole year-end reviews things to where everyone's like, these are my top 10 games for this year, you know, and you actually want to see some older games maybe that you may not have heard of, it's an excellent series to end up checking that out. My previous years have not been that great. I do like very minor editing on them and stuff like that, and it was like, yeah, whatever, they're okay. This year I'm going a little bit more into it. Also, I get emblems for these. Yay, you actually have to complete all those to unlock the secret green hill stage. Anyways, that's the end of that. Sweet. But yeah, so it's pretty awesome. So if you want to check that out, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and so you can end up seeing what I have to recommend. And most likely there's going to be a few games that I've talked about on there already, but it's definitely a good way to kind of see what I've been playing recently, and then kind of like what I recommend in games in general. I'd love to do more like top 10 things and stuff like that, but like the end of the year thing is definitely the best time to do it, because that's generally when people are like, all right, we're about to have a drought, because in the winter, like, no new games come out. It's all like games came out already because the holiday season hit, and so you get like January, February, whatever, that's pretty much dead, aside from like the kind of what I like to call holder titles, to where like Ukulele and stuff like that I think is coming out. The Tales of Berseria is coming out, but they're games that wouldn't necessarily perform well in the holiday season anyways, and so they kind of avoid that by going out in the beginning of the year. But like aside from that, like, we ain't gonna get titles for a while. We're about to get that winter drought of video games, which is kind of lame. And I look forward to that time of the year because it's a good time to like catch up on games, especially games that came out like the last year before, and then, you know, maybe you didn't pick them up for whatever reason. You know, all the DLCs come out for certain AAA games, so you end up being able to just pick up a complete package or something like that. And so for me personally, it's a great time. But for other people, they're like, I buy games all the time and I have nothing to play. But I think that it's actually going to be a great year for like indie games. Like, I'm kind of hoping that a lot of indie games come out like Ukulele that end up being really good. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I am literally out of things to talk about, and my brain is not random enough today. Like, I'm pretty tired and pretty hot. It's still really, really hot in this apartment. I might actually open up a window. It's absolutely freezing outside. but I might actually open up a window for like maybe just 10 minutes to cool it down, because my apartment has one circulating heater that just makes everything one single temperature. Well, theoretically, except that it doesn't. And so the thermostat area is probably pretty cold because everywhere else is burning hot, which is kind of lame. Yeah, they're paying a lot for the heating here, I guess. But regardless, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you guys so much for watching the Broken Chatbox. This has been Michael. I do impressions, reviews, and things like that. You can find my links on there. And if you are on the archive, you can also check out my Twitter and things like that. If you want to catch the other live shows, or if you're watching this in the archive and want to check out the live show, we do this currently at Saturday night at 5 p.m.-ish. Normally we're later. Today I had to do some test streaming to make sure that my new settings were working, and then I just ended up reverting the settings. So it took a little bit longer to go live today, but hey, that's kind of how it goes. But if you want to check that out, make sure to follow me on the Twitch and check us out then. The time is probably going to change depending on life situations and who's available and things like that, so it's not 100% solid, but if I change something, it will be mentioned on my Twitter. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll probably end up playing through the Dark Story in the next week or something like that. It depends. I think I'm going to play Sonic Adventure 2 when I'm solo. And so if you see Sonic Adventure 2, I'm most likely solo. Maybe not, unless somebody wants to play it. But I definitely want to try doing other games as well. The Hero Story took a lot longer to go through than I thought it did. And so, yeah, those last levels. Also, I'm going to hug a fruit. There we go. That's how we'll close it out. I'm going to hug a fruit. And then give it to him. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next week. And make sure to comment and stuff, I guess. Peace.